back to That Dad Guy. It's June 11th, 2024, and today is a little bit overcast outside. It's going to be about 23 degrees Celsius this afternoon, but we might get some thunder showers. Oh well, that's all right. Today I want to talk about the things that I got at the Moncton Stamp Fair auction this past weekend. It'll probably take me a couple of videos to show you everything that was there that I got, but I did get all this. Before I get into what all that is, I want to talk about how the stamp fair went. So there were no particular dealers this month. It was all tables set out. If you watched the video, you got to see what was on those tables. If you didn't get a chance to see it and you just want a little bit of recap, they had 3 or 4 really long tables set out in this room, and people came and dealers came and put things on the tables that you could bid on. And if there was a bid, then it went to the live auction. If there wasn't a bid, it was removed and given back to the person who put it out there. Almost everything started at $5. There were a few exceptions. There was one really beautiful custom stamp. They wanted a minimum bid of $150 on it. No bids were put on that one, so it didn't go to sale. There were a few smaller lots that may have been $10 or $35. Some of them went to the auction and some of them didn't as well. I can tell you the most expensive things that were sold there was 2 items, and they both sold for $50, which was kind of back and forth to get them up to that price point. I think they may have even started at about $5, so they really went up quite high. Most everything though sold $10 or less, I can tell you that. So I went in with one strategy. I went in with a strategy because I knew there was tons of stuff I loved that I would have loved to have gotten, and had I went into a bidding more, I would have spent way more money than I had to spend. And so I put minimum bids on a bunch of things, and that was it. I sat on my hands, I closed my mouth. If someone else bid 50 cents more than I put in there, or a nickel more than I didn't bid on it. So I watched a lot of things that I really liked disappear. There were some really long red boxes, if you could watch the videos, that were sorted by Scott catalog number. There were worldwide stamps, they were US, they were Canadian, they were Belgian, Australian. There was about 8 of these big boxes that were all in Scott catalog number, and they were filled with stamps. And the most expensive one, I think, sold for $20. So they were a real bargain, and I really wanted to bid in on those, but I said I was gonna do it this way. I stuck to my guns, and I still managed to win 7 lots by just putting a minimum bid in. One of the minimum bids though was $20, I'll tell you that much. That I had one that I put $20 in, that was the minimum, and I got it. I was the only one that bid on it. Everything else was $5 minimum bid. There might have been one thing that was $7, I think, because I'm looking at, no, it was $8 because it was an uneven amount that I had, I think. But yeah, almost everything I bid, $5, and got it. So that's great. Now let's get into what I did get. I'm going to show you a couple quick things, and we'll go into some more detail about them. If it's the first time you're finding my channel, make sure you like, you subscribe, you leave positive comments, you share with other people, and you put the notification bell on so you don't miss out on anything. And if you haven't watched my auction videos, you can go back and watch that. Also, some of the other things like Stamp of the Month. This month and every month, actually, I do a giveaway with my Stamp of the Month video, so you want to go check that one out. This month I talked about airmail stamps, and all you've got to do is write the word airmail in the comment field of that video, and you have a chance to win. That video for the draw is on the 15th, so it's coming up quickly, so you're running out of days to get your submission in for that. All right, let's get into what I did bid on and did win. A couple here I'm going to show you right off the bat. First, thanks to Steven in the live draw, I bid $5 on this. It is a 60 times microscope that just kind of clips onto something, clips onto the back of your phone, wherever you want to do it, for looking at the great details on your stamps. It comes with batteries. It came with the original receipt. The person paid $10 for it originally, so they got half their money back at least of it. It is still taped shut. It was never used. It comes with the batteries, so hopefully the batteries are sealed away or in good condition. I haven't even opened it yet. So let's do that right now. We're gonna pop the box. I'm gonna break the tape. And inside, we've got the instructions. We've got the original receipt. And we've got a little case that it comes in. And there, it just clips on like that. There's your microscope. Yeah, and then I don't see batteries unless the batteries are already in it, which they may be. Oh, it has a light. So you just turn that, so there is batteries in it because the light's on. And I just have to clip it on somewhere, and then I can check out the microscope portion of it. So that's that, $5. Hopefully I made good use of it somewhere along the way. I wasn't quite sure at the time what I was even going to do with it when I saw it, because I don't look at my stamps that closely very often. But Stephen in Australia said, wow, 60 times, that's a good zoom. So $5, let's try and see if I can win it. And I did. The next thing I'm going to show you, I'm going to leave this till another video and this till another video. Oh, so many things here I want to show you. You're going to have to wait. I'm going to push all that stuff aside. You'll see that in another video. Let's start. I got two things here. I'm just looking at which one is the earliest. I think it's this one. It is this booklet of Czechoslovakia stamps. You can see I bid $5. I got it for $5. I was the only one to bid on it. Nice little zip case too. That aside, they are all bound. So what I'm going to do is I'll turn the camera around and we'll go through the pages. We're going to do two of them. I got two of them. They're different ones. There may be some duplicate stamps in it, but I bought both of them. Each of them were $5 each. Take that out, and let's go through these stamps and see what's in there. I'll put both packs on top of each other, and we can see them together. All right. Let's start with this one first. You can see how these pages were set up with the stamps and the stickers there, but then you get right into the stamps. You can see the year of issue, 1918 to 1920. And they got a pretty good job of completing most of these. There are a couple that are missing from there, but they might be in that other collection that I bought as well. My father had a pretty good collection of Czechoslovakia. I don't know how many of these might be missing from it though. And I thought for $5, it'd probably be worthwhile to pick it up if I could. I really like early stamps. Not because they might be valuable, because that's generally not the case, but I like the style of how the art was done. Now some of these are pretty simplistic, so not all really beautiful stamps. These ones not so simplistic, so they've got a lot more detail in them. But of course, they reuse the same image over and over again, much like a Moncton. So they're not super interesting to have them that way, but I do like overprints, and you can see there's a lot of overprints. And I know there's going to be people out there that will write more information and give us details. It's always great to read the comments of these videos because you might learn more from the comments than you do from actually watching them. Because I have some wonderful subscribers that give us the extra details that I certainly don't know. Because there are people that collect a lot more than I do. I am a teller of the story, not necessarily a knower of all the details. How about that? I like to promote collecting. And some of the different things that you can collect that are out there, I like to be able to show that off. I have people that send me in stamps that I am able to share with you guys too. I do like the ones that are odd shapes. I like these pages too. My father used a bunch of them as well that show you the image underneath that you're looking for. And then you just go by catalog number to put them in. And you can see these are all done back in the day when we were hinging our stamps. Not so much anymore. We're trying to protect the stamps by not hinging them. But whoever had this collection before did a good job, filled in a lot of the spaces. Now these are the sort of pages that if I was sitting down to go through the 10-cent albums, this is the sort of things you'd come across. Pages out of these type of collections. So if I was to break it down by saying each stamp could have cost me 10 cents had I bought it, I certainly got a lot more for my money's worth of the $5 I paid for just buying everything. And that was one of the reasons why I really wanted those red boxes too, but wasn't willing to actually bid up against other people for them. I can tell you this auction I spent $53. And you will see I got quite a bit for that amount of money. Always talking about Canadian dollars because I'm here in Canada. Already into the 1950s with these stamps. And I'm doing it in a way that if you want to pause it at any point to look at a particular stamp, you can. For me to just stop on each one, it would take about 18 videos, probably, maybe even more than that. I want to do this in a way that you kind of can have an overview of what was in it. And you kind of see a change now in the style of stamps. Like these I find are really beautiful, the amount of detail that are in those stamps. It's not just a person, a famous politician or an influential person on the stamps. They are now getting into themes, and there's some Olympics in there you can see. There's a stamp that's hidden. Take it out. See where, not sure where it belongs. Oh, it belongs over here. I'll lose that. As soon as I turn the page, it's going to fall, but it'll be on that page at least. I'll come back and try to get it in. One thing I notice about Czechoslovakia stamps too is they have some that are of very big sizes. These aviation ones are good size stamps. Funny how the friendships that you can develop through stamp collecting can open your eyes to new history and new countries, new cultures. Certainly was the case with my father and his friend from Czechoslovakia at the time. Just someone he had found through a stamp magazine, I think, in order to swap stamps. Reached out and found this gentleman, and they continued to trade stamps back and forth, even when Czechoslovakia broke up into two different countries, and the fall of communism, and how their letters had changed. I talked about this in the past, where all the letters he used to get from this gentleman, they were taped on the back because they were always open and read before they continued on to Canada. And he didn't say a lot of details in those letters, but as soon as the change in government took place, he was talking more about his family and his life and his work. So he and my father had an interesting relationship through the passion of collecting stamps. And got to see history unfold through the years back and forth. Now I feel like I've got some relationships like that now, burgeoning whether it is people that I correspond with in Ukraine and all the things that are happening currently, and I get to tell the stories based on what they send for information that are happening in their countries. Or my friends that are in the United States and their upcoming election and that impact it may have on the world. Or myself talking about what's happening in Canada. Maybe other people around the world are interested in what's happening here as well. So it is a great way to meet people and share an experience. I'm beginning to think that this collection is huge. I hadn't realized there was so many stamps in here to show you. So many topics. And this is just one of the 2 collections I bought. There's some space theme stamps in there. I'm always looking for new topics to show you and to talk about. And in the process of getting together what I need for next month's Stamp versus Stamp with Snail Mail with Smokey. Every month we do a collaboration video, and we just put one out. So if you want to go check that one out, it is a debate version where we each picked a stamp that was an idea given in by Stephen from Australia. Now we're working on what we'll be doing next month already. I'm also working on ideas for upcoming Stamp versus Stamp, or Stamp of the Month, excuse me, with Liverpool stamps. So I'm always looking for what I'm going to need for those videos as well. So even though I'm putting out maybe 1 video a day on most days, sometimes I'm working on another 1 or 2 videos at the same time during those days to make sure I can have all these topics continuing to flow, and I have people that send me messages and we have ideas back and forth too on that. So this channel really is, oh, I skipped a page, is a group effort to try to keep things going. So many people are saying, "Have I talked about this topic?" Or maybe they send something in and that becomes a topic. Eventually we'll do a video on Easter seals and Christmas seals, but I'm still working on getting everything I need in order to make that a comprehensive video. Stamps from the 1960s. Beautiful Olympic stamps here. Birds, almost complete. These dog stamps are really nice too. One of those stamps is flipped up. There's been a few of those in this so far as I trip over this chair. This train stamp as well. Quite a few of the trains are missing there though. Anyone getting excited for the Olympics that are coming up in France this year? In July and August. It's kind of every 2 years there's an Olympics, of course, but between the summer and the winter games. And sometimes those are the only times that I'm tuning in watching some of these events, some of these sports that I wouldn't otherwise be watching, just to cheer on whether or not Canada's going to get some medals. Of course, we do much better in the Winter Olympics than we do in the Summer Olympics, but we still managed to get a few medals. A nice Olympic page. You'll notice at stamp fairs a lot, the collections usually are from, let's say, the 1970s and earlier, because that's when hobbyists were the most collecting. And then when the 80s and 90s came along, you didn't have as many stamp collectors. People were getting more into electronical things. Electronical, is that a word? Electronics. So these collections tend to be a little bit on the older side as people passed away and their collections didn't go anywhere. They would get purchased up by dealers. And it would end up in auctions like this. Big stamps here, 1970s. I'm starting to see some stamps that I recognize that Elena sent on. And they put out quite a few Olympic stamps. I'm pleasantly surprised that there are so many in here in this collection. Really nice stamps too. Some of these you can see the hinge has given way. As long as I keep them on the right pages, I'll be able to find them later. Some more dogs. $1975. They issued a lot of stamps. These are nice. Down there. These are beautiful stamps too. I got a few of those out of the 10-cent books in the past, I know that. Some long-necked animals for you, Smokey, if you're watching. We're starting to see fewer stamps on the pages. This is where the collector must have started running out of his supply or started to stop collecting in the late 70s. There's some nice ones. These pages even include some of the souvenir sheets. Looks like this will stop in 1979, 1980. So that was the first book. Well, after going through all that, my back is a little bit sore the way I was filming it. So we're only going to do book one of that collection that I've got. The second part of the Czechoslovakian collection will hopefully come out tomorrow for you, and I'll include something else in that came out of the auction. And then there'll probably be a part 3 and a part 4 based on what I got. So today you get one thing of the Czech collection and the microscope. $10 for what you saw today. Now you have to wait and see what I got tomorrow. All right, you guys, have a magical week. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Bye.